Hey Scrap Bosses, I'm back with a really fun project using the Tonic Nuvo Aqua Shimmer pen. What this is a glitter pen. It's much like Wink Stella. I'm going to be very honest with you. I love this pen far better than Wink Stella. I've always had problems using those pens. I couldn't get the product expressed through the pen. But I started using this Nuvo pen and I'm in love with it. As you can see, the pen is pretty thick. In the barrel of the pen, you will have your glitter product, and the one that I'm using is called Glitter Gloss. And much like other pens like this, all you have to do is just press on a certain point of the pen, and there you see the word press there. Just take your thumb and just press down, and what will happen is the product will expel from the barrel, and in the barrel you'll have all the glitter product there, and it'll go ahead and come through that clear part of the pen into the tip of the pen, which is a brush pen. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and press, and you can see that product coming down, and look how beautiful and iridescent that is. It's absolutely gorgeous. This is called Glitter Gloss. Now, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to create a unique background using some punched out snowflakes, and I'm going to use this glitter gloss to paint on my die cut snowflakes. You're going to see that here in a second, but look how shiny that is. Now it looks really shiny because it's on a piece of black cardstock. It's going to add a light iridescent shine when you use it against a lighter cardstock. Now, of course, you can use these beautiful pens to accent any project. So if you want to accent an embellishment on a scrapbook page or a traveler's notebook or on a card, you certainly can. Now, I'm sort of moving that snowflake around because I wanted you to see the iridescent. I went ahead and dried it with my heating tool, and you can kind of see it there. Because it's against white, it's a little bit harder to see, but you'll be able to see pictures of this on the Victoria Marie blog, so make sure that you check that out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and build out my custom background. Now, the reason why I love doing this is, one, if you're like me, and particularly if you're a newer scrapbooker, or even if you just don't have a whole lot of product in your stash, you can create your own background using some of these products. You just take what you have in your stash, and of course you can alter it in order to meet the design of your layout. So what I wanted was a tone-on-tone look at the top third portion of this layout. This is an 8.5 by 11 layout. So I punched out all of those little snowflakes using a punch from my stash, painted them all with that glitter, shimmer aqua shimmer glitter gloss, and then I'm just adhering those to some white cardstock, and I'm just using some economy grade cardstock for this. And you can see how shiny and pretty that is. It's also going to add just a tiny bit of dimension at the top and a little bit of texture. And it was very simple to do, and all I had to do was use my Nuvo product, and then everything else on this layout is from my stash. I love creating custom backgrounds, so any product that I have that will help me do that, save me some money, as well as use up the things that are in my stash, I'm all for it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to complete the background by adding a piece of pattern paper. This is a gray and white wood grain pattern paper. I want to say that's from Felicity Jane. Everything else, as I mentioned, is from my stash, so if I don't quite remember where it's from, I'm going to try to find that out and put that in the blog post for this video. By the way, I apologize for the shaking. I am testing out a new table in my brand new scrap room. Actually, it's not a new table, it's just a new setup. And I'm using it as a work table, and it's not as steady as I thought it was. So whenever I move something around on my table, it does shake a little bit. I hope to remedy that really soon. So please excuse the shaking. It's not you, it's me. So what I did was I took the marketing strip from that same pattern paper and put that right there to cover the joint. So I'm moving that paper around. You can see the iridescent shine. Isn't that pretty? It's all custom. And you know, anybody looking at your scrapbook will probably go, oh my God, that's absolutely gorgeous. And you can say, you know what? I did that myself. I designed and created that myself. Now, I felt like this needed a little bit of grounding, so I trimmed up the pattern paper, the custom pattern paper rather, and I mounted that on a piece of card. Next up, I want to add a little bit of texture and dimension with some embellishments, and so I went to my little embellishment cart and grabbed a few things. Lots of manufacturers here, from Basic Gray, Pink Fresh Studio, Ali Edwards. I have some Amy Tangerine sticker fonts, as well as some sticker fonts that I grabbed from the dollar spot from Target a few years ago. I love using up all of the things in my stash, so I grabbed a few things that I thought would work well. Now, to be honest, I didn't quite know where the color scheme was going with this one, but I started to really feel the gray and the black in the pattern paper that I made. So I decided, you know what, this is going to be a holiday layout. That's a picture of my daughter and her grandparents who came down recently for an early Christmas gift exchange. And I don't have really any Christmas themed scrapbooking stuff other than my December daily items. And those are all reserved for my December daily, which I haven't started on. That's a totally different story. So I decided to create this holiday layout just using stuff from my stash. Alrighty, so I went ahead and I mounted my photo on a piece of black cardstock, and what I'm going to do is pop that up with some foam. To the background, I added some red and white twine, and I'm going to pop this photo up so that it sits over that twine. And there we go. There's the photo of my daughter and her grandparents, all 5 of them. She is quite spoiled, that one. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and do some embellishing. Now, my goal is not to cover up those beautiful little snowflakes that I made, so a lot of the embellishing is going to go around the photo. Of course, the title is going to go to the bottom. I went ahead and grabbed that ampersand from that Dear Lizzie little puffy sticker, not puffy, puffy sticker, puffy shapes. I cannot talk today. I have not worked in a couple of days since I've moved. Actually, it's been more than a couple of days. And of course, I shared with you guys that I moved into my new house, and so I haven't narrated a video in a few days, actually. So I got rusty over those few days. Okay, back to the layout. Now I'm going to work on the title. So I grabbed my thickers, my Amy Tangerine thickers. I forget the name of these thickers. I'm going to pull the word love. And I'm going to grab these really fun chipboard letters, which are really good quality, that I found at the dollar spot at Target. And that had to be at least 2 or 3 years ago. I purchased it for my December daily project and never used them. I'm going to spell out the title called Grandparent Love. I'm going to nestle the word love in between the word grandparents. And then I think that I probably need to reinforce those chipboard words because as we know, or chipboard letters, because as we know, they tend to fall off if you don't reinforce them. There's something about the tackiness of the adhesive that just doesn't keep those letters on a scrapbook page. So I'm grabbing all the letters to spell out grandparent love, and I think I got it. So that works very well. I'm going to do a little bit of adjusting to that title to make sure that the word love fits nicely where I need it, and that the word parent sits right on top of the word love. Okay, that looks good. Next up, I want to add a few more embellishments. So I grabbed some of these really fun die cuts from Basic Gray that's been in my stash for quite a while. And what I did was I cut up one of the little note cards, and I'm going to put the top part of that note card that says memo to the top portion of the photo. Again, I do apologize for the shaking there. Now, true to form, I always stick things down and then I pull them up when I'm ready to tuck in embellishments and such. Not a surprise if you've been following me for a while. All right, so let's do a little bit more embellishing there. I grabbed some LE Studio cut-aparts that I've had in my stash. This one says, Our Time Together is my favorite. I'm just going to tuck that right there on top of that memo die cut that I made, apparently. Then I also have this label, and let's see, where is that from? I think that's a Gossamer Blue die cut set. I'm going to put a few of those die cuts from Gossamer Blue, this particular package, on the layout. So I added that blank label there to the top just to add some interest. Next up, I'm going to add a date label, again from that same Gossamer Blue die cut pack, and going to add that to the layout right underneath the title. So that gives me a spot to put the date. I needed an anchor to go to the right-hand side of my photo, so I grabbed this other die cut, again from the Gossamer Blue die cuts, and I'm going to add that to the right-hand side of my photo. To that's going to be a little rubber charm, the ampersand rubber charm that you see there on screen, as well as a little puffy house, which I'm going to add here in just a second. I needed something at the top, and I wanted a different color, so I grabbed this green label, and later on I'm going to stamp a sentiment there. Here comes that ampersand, and that is from the, oh goodness, Dear Lizzie, I believe. I'm using a lot of stuff from my stash, so I'm surprised that I'm actually remembering where these things are from. I'm looking through to see where that little house is that I wanted to use. There it is. That's a part of an Evalicious puffy collection. I'm going to go ahead and put that house right there by that ampersand. I think it's really cute and very appropriate for the layout. This is a picture of my daughter with her 5 grandparents. They came down for an early Christmas. I don't know if I said that already. They also came down to see our new house. So if you've been following me on social media, then you know my family and I have purchased a new home, and we're very excited. It's our first home. Well, for my spouse and I, it's the second home for my mom. We are a multi-generational household. My mom moved in with us recently. She has some mobility issues and was starting to get a little bit scared of living by herself. So we all bought a house together. And so the rest of the grandparents came down to see the house. Alrighty, so now what I want to do is I want to embellish even further by adding more little puffy embellishments. Now I'm adding stars to the layout. Technically, I consider this a holiday layout. So I'm using colors that I feel are traditional holiday colors. And I also want to use icons that I also feel are perfect for holiday layouts. So I'm choosing stars to embellish. So these stars are from the DIY shop by American Crafts, and they're very easy to break. So I'm trying to be super, super careful. In fact, that one that I'm trying to position there, he lost one of his little legs. So I'm going to try to position him so he looks like he's tucked underneath those layers there at the top. I added one to my little cluster to the right, and I'm adding one by the title as well, just to bring in a little bit more texture and dimension. Now, I subscribe to the Ali Edwards Stories by the Month kit. I think that's what it's called. And I haven't used these kits yet, but I did look through the stash to see if I can find some die cuts, and I found this circle die cut that says Stories, and I want to go ahead and adhere that to the bottom left portion of the photo, and I thought that was perfect. Also, it adds a bit of green to correspond with the green label that's at the top of the layout. And because I have that green label at the top, and now I have that green die cut towards the left-hand side, I need to finish out that rule of threes, or that visual triangle rather, by adding green underneath the title. So I did that with a stamp, and that stamp says, "Remember this stuff." Alrighty, I also want to add a stamp to that top label, so I reach into my stash and grab a stamp that says Happy Day, and I'm just going to stamp that with some black VersaFine ink, testing that out on a piece of scrap paper, and there we go, nice and stamped up. And I think that's coming together very nicely. Lastly, I'm going to add some journaling, and the journaling reads, "There is nothing more special than the love of a grandparent. You are lucky to have 5 awesome grands who love you more than anything in this world. Always remember that." My sweet girl is very lucky enough to have unique relationships with all 5 of her grandparents, and she's spoiled by all of them too, and I think that's how it should be. So there we have it, a complete layout using the Tonic Nuvo Aqua Shimmer Glitter Gloss to create a unique background. Look at those snowflakes, they're so pretty. Now, I'm not just saying this because I'm on the Tonic design team, but this is probably one of my favorite products. I think it's better than Wink of Stella, easy to use, and it creates a beautiful result. So make sure you check it out. The link is posted down below. Tonic products are so versatile. You can use them with your existing products to create absolutely stunning projects. For more information about this layout or to get a closer look, make sure you check out the Victoria Marie blog. And hey, if you haven't already subscribed to this YouTube channel, make sure you do. Click the subscribe button. Also click the bell indicator. That way you'll know every time I post a new video here to the Victoria Marie YouTube channel. Now you go and be creative.